Preparation for Death, Considerations on Eternal Truths by Saint Liguori. Consideration 3, Shortness of Life. What is your life? It is a vapor which appeareth for a little while. James 15. First point, death comes quickly. What is your life? It is like a vapor which is dissipated by a blast of wind and is seen no more. All know that they must die, but the delusion of many is that they imagine death as far off as if it were never to arrive. But Job tells us that the life of man is short. Man born of a woman, living for a short time, who cometh forth like a flower and is destroyed. This truth the Lord commanded Isaiah to preach to the people. Cry, all flesh is grass. Indeed, the people is grass. The grass is withered, and the flower is fallen. The life of man is like the life of a blade of grass. Death comes, the grass is dried up. Behold, life ends, and the flower of all greatness and of all worldly goods falls off. My days, says Job, have been swifter than a post. Death runs to meet us more swiftly than a post, and we at every moment run towards death. Every step, every breath brings us nearer to our end. What I write, says Jerome, is so much taken away from life. During the time I write, I draw near to death. We all die, and like the waters that return no more, we fall into the earth. 2 Kings 14. Behold how the stream flows to the sea, and the passing waters never return. Thus, my brother, your days pass by, and you approach death. Pleasures, amusements, pomps, praises, and acclamations pass away, and what remains? And only the grave remaineth for me. Job 1. We shall be thrown into a grave, and there we shall remain to rot. Stripped of all things at the hour of death, the remembrance of the delights enjoyed and of all the honors acquired in this life will serve only to increase our pain and our diffidence of obtaining eternal salvation. Then the miserable worldling will say, my house, my gardens, my fashionable furniture, my pictures, my garments will in little time be no longer mine, and only the grave remaineth for me. Ah, at that hour all the earthly goods are viewed only with pain by those who have had an attachment for them, and this pain will serve only to increase the danger of their eternal salvation. For we see by experience that persons attached to the world wish at death to speak only of their sickness, of the physicians to be called to attend them, and of the remedies which may restore their health. When anyone speaks of the state of the soul, they soon grow weary and beg to be allowed to repose. They complain of headache and say that it pains them to hear anyone speak, and if they sometimes answer, they are confused and know not what to say. It often happens that the confessor gives them absolution, not because he knows that they are disposed for the sacrament, but because it is dangerous to defer it. Such is the death of those who think but little of death. Second point, the lighted candle at death. King Ezekiah said with tears, my life is cut off as by a weaver. While I was yet beginning, he cut me off. Oh, how many have been overtaken and cut off by death while they were executing and arranging worldly projects devised with so much labor. By the light of the last candle, all things in this world, applause, diversions, pomps, and greatness vanish. Great secret of death, it makes us see what the lovers of this world do not see. The most princely fortunes, the most exalted dignities, and the most superb triumphs lose all their splendor when viewed from the bed of death. The ideas that we have formed of certain false happiness are then changed into indignation against our own folly. The black and gloomy shade of death then covers and obscures every dignity, even that of kings and princes. At present, our passions make the goods of this earth appear different from what they are in reality. Death takes off the veil and makes them appear what they really are: smoke, dirt, vanity, and wretchedness. O God, of what use are riches, possessions, or kingdoms at death, when nothing remains but a wooden coffin and a simple garment barely sufficient to cover the body? Of what use are the honors when they all end in a funeral procession and pompous obsequies, which will be unprofitable to the soul if it be in hell? Of what use is beauty when after death nothing remains but worms, stench, and horror, in the end a little fetid dust? He hath made me, says Job, as it were a byword of the people and an example before them. Job 6. The rich man, the captain, the minister of state, dies. His death is the general topic of conversation. But if he has led a bad life, he will become a byword of the people and an example before them. As an instance of the vanity of the world and even of the divine justice, he will serve for the admonition of others. After burial, his body will be mingled with the bodies of the poor. The small and great are there. What profit has he derived from the beautiful structure of his body, which is now but a heap of worms? Of what use are the power and authority which he wielded when his body is now left to rot in a grave, and his soul perhaps has been sent to burn in hell? Oh, what misery to be the occasion of such reflections to others, and not to have made them for his own profit! Let us then persuade ourselves that the proper time for repairing the disorders of the soul is not the hour of death, but the time of health. Let us hasten now to do what we shall not be able to do at that hour. The time is short. Tempus breve est. Everything soon passes away and comes to an end. Let us therefore labor to employ all things for the attainment of eternal life.